Hi everyone, I'm Layla.
My name is Asia.
And this is Rom-Com Revolutions.
Indeed. So today we're going to talk about how basically, rom-coms have honestly, the evolution of rom-coms and their impact on generations, starting from, Gen X, boomers, and Gen Z has kind of, impacted it drastically. From the 1950s or 1940s, marriages were seen as, the traditional route for women and men. That was kind of, the ideology, once you started being friends with somebody, you date them, and then you guys get married, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, since then, into Gen Z, it's stirred from, complicated steps, you guys become friends, and then you guys become a talking stage, situationships, relationships, then, the whole trust issues, finances, and stuff like that. It's become more complicated and difficult for it to become, a valid, respected route to turn to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then since the 50s to now, the marriage rates for men and women have gone down about 16%, and the divorce rates have gone up from about 6.5% to 8.5%.
Yeah.
More divorces than there were in the 50s.
Yeah, you don't really hear a lot. You don't really hear a lot about young people wanting that desire to get married, especially women.
Mm-hmm.
Women have that desire to more want to explore and adventure out. They don't want to waste. They don't want to waste their youth away.
Yeah.
Is what kind of is they're getting their point across. More women are kind of becoming more independent. They're more understanding of what they want to do. They're more patient with their relationship life. You know.
They're also less relationship focused than they were in the 50s, because in the 50s it was find a person, get married, have kids, and stay together forever. Now you see a lot more dating around and exploring what you want and what you don't want. And you can also see the difference in back then you were supposed to get married and then have kids. Now it's you can do your own thing and you can do what you want without being criticized as harshly as you were back then.
Exactly. And then not only is it just young people are being more adventurous, but rom-coms, depending on the person, it kind of creates unexpected high expectations. You get
Yes.
They have the average tropes friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, soulmates, I'm gonna chase you out in the rain because I appreciate you that much. They kind of over exaggerate the effort. The men chasing the women for effort, and they kind of put it in children's shows, and they impact the mind of kids, especially if you put it in children's shows and you exaggerate it. That child will later on expect that, or they're gonna want that later on in the future, and 9 times out of 10 they're gonna be upset that they won't get that because it's not realistic.
So definitely growing up, for me at least, I remember watching dozens of rom-coms weekly, and I remember thinking that, oh, this is something that I want and this is something that I need, and it's something that I search for in relationships. And now seeing the type of people that in our generation, it's not something that we're able to get as easily as it was back then. And it kind of puts this fictional belief about relationships for us. Watching these rom-coms, you expect the guy to come to your door, knock on the door with flowers, ask your parents for permission to date you, and all of this super hyper romantical stuff that probably won't really happen.
Exactly.
Until you find the one.
Yeah. And that's also what's impacted on there too. You're when you find the one person for you, your soulmate, or it's oh, you guys have to go all through these trials and tribulations, and you have a big argument. You just have to have this one big argument,
and then everything's fine.
Exactly. And then it's I don't know. For me, I would want to watch a realistic romance comedy, but at the same time, it serves the purpose for entertainment. It's an entertainment genre that young ladies really do like. And, as exaggerated as it is, it's definitely entertaining. I definitely continue to watch it. I definitely continue to look for more romance comedies because, it's just the thought of oh my goodness, the dream. That's
right.
The dream effort that you want. But that's also kind of like the con about it, because they portray a dream effort that isn't really, I don't want to say not necessarily going to happen, because you never know who you meet, but it's less likely to occur.
So we interviewed 2 different people. We interviewed one lady and one male, and we asked them about their perspectives on relationships and if they believe that rom-coms have influenced relationships like we're talking about. And both of them had some pretty good key details, and they said things like, like what did Miss Ace say?
Miss Ace she was talking about how, she got married in her 20s. She got married in her 20s.
Yeah.
She had a child at 30, but she was watching like Sex in the City.
Yeah.
And like how,
and the women empowerment in movies like that, and how it teaches us to kind of create our own path instead of following these set in stone rules for relationships.
Say when Sex in the City came into play, that was just a whole new awakening of how women date, their freedom, and just it was just an eye opener for me, because I'm like, wow, it went from good girl to, hey, you have choices. You know what I mean? You have the freedom, where it was a stigma where, oh, you're a whore, you're this and that, if you're dating so many different people. And mind you, dating doesn't equate to being sexual. Right. It's just learning yourself. You know what I mean?
Like you have like romance comedies like Sex in the City, and then you have other romance comedies like Gilmore Girls. You have like 10 Things I Hate About You. Then you also have like I don't know, like what do I want to say?
I don't know, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah. And then there's another one, it's on the top of my head. But you just have so many different romance novels that use these tropes to like, kind of like portray in your eyes, like, yes, kind of like this is what teenage girls desire.
Some of them are good. Some of them are just like entertaining them.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why would this happen? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, who's really gonna run to the airport gate when you're about to take off?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of it just doesn't make sense to me. But I will say, some of the stuff in rom-coms, the girls eat it up. And so I've used a couple things from like rom-com.
Gen Z now, it's so complicated for us to actually want to have real relationships, because there's always this thought process of, he's not like my celebrity crush in the movies. He's not like in the movies, or he, I can't trust him because I seen this and that. And it's like, it's different. Reality is different from movies. They're directed. You know what I'm saying?
It also kind of teaches us that there aren't issues in relationships if you find your perfect match, which isn't true at all.
Usually the girl is like, okay, like it's over.
Right. Yeah.
But that problem still exists.
Right.
You know what I mean? And in some movies, if some are done really more complex and well, I think they'll show them actually, and usually that's like the big, crescendo is like, okay, like the issue still exists and it comes to a head. And they have the giant argument where they finally talk it out. And then they get through it. But I don't know if people really pay attention to that. They're more focused on the little build up, and then they're like, oh, I have to argue to reach a conclusion. When really it's just, I need to have a conversation.
Like 50-50, success and failure, entertainment and realism. It doesn't have to be like 5 seasons. But it could just be like, because they're usually under like an hour and a half, honestly, like the average rom-com. But
it's like 90 minutes.
Exactly. You can put out a season of like 10 episodes like Stranger Things. Or 7 episodes like Stranger Things, and then like, it's just realism. But it's just the overall desire of like showing realistic romance, realistic relationships, like that 50-50.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in conclusion, basically what we're saying is that rom-coms are so revolutionary because they've taught us to be ourselves and kind of explore without having that criticism that we normally would get. But I think we're done.
I think that's honestly it, you know?
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you
watching.
for listening.
Have a great day.